Good morning. Good morning, everybody. All right, I think everybody's awake, right? Plenty of coffee, a little bit of exercise. It is time to talk about money. All right, let's do it. Everybody's got to tell the truth. If you feel like you've got your money situation under control, you're making more than you're spending, your credit card debt is relatively paid down, you feel like you're in control, raise your hand. All right. Second question. If you are investing, you're investing a little bit out of every paycheck, you're making it a habit, you feel like you're in control, raise your hand. Okay. All right. If you want to live a badass life, raise your hand. Everybody up. If, on the other hand, you prefer to have less money than the guys do who are similarly situated, raise it high. You do? You want to have less money than the guys? No, less. All right, let's try that again. You want to have less money than the guys, raise your hand. Uh-oh. Because if your financial life is not under control, because if you're not beginning to invest now, we got to talk. Because, ladies, we live in a capitalist society, and money is power. And today, the guys have more of it than we do. The guys have more money, the guys have more power. Not investing as much as the guys do can cost you $1 million over the course of your life or more. For some women, the gender investing gap is bigger than their gender pay gap. And for those of you who don't like big numbers, maybe $1 million's just too big for you. If you wait 10 years to get yourself under financial control, and if you wait 10 years to invest, but you're putting aside money for retirement, you're putting aside 10, 20% of your income, but you're leaving it in the bank. Probably you think it takes too long to invest. The amount of money you can lose every day from not investing is $100. So if $1 million's too big for you, maybe 100 will wake you up, because that gorgeous bag there in the front row, if that had a hole in it, and every day, today, you lost $100 out of it, and tomorrow, you didn't fix the hole and you lost $100 out of it, and the next day, another $100 fell out. How many days would it take you to fix your bag? None. You'd fix it later today. And yet we wait to get ourselves in financial control, and we wait to invest. All right, you're probably thinking, who the hell is she? What in the world is this woman doing up on stage talking about this topic, which, I don't know, money, not something I love speaking about. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Ellevest, which is an investing platform for women. And by the way, I thought the idea was as dumb as some of you do. I thought we women don't need our own thing. It's going to be remedial financial education. I'm not interested until I realized there was this gender investing gap. Before this, I was CEO of Merrill Lynch Wealth Management. I was Chief Financial Officer of Citi. I was CEO of Smith Barney. I was the only senior executive on Wall Street to partially reimburse clients in the crisis of 07 and 08 because we had missold products to them. I was one of the few research analysts who was negative back when everyone was positive. So I'm sort of a pain in the ass of Wall Street. I consider that my job. But really what I consider my job right now, having had this amazing career that I can't believe I got to have, is my entire professional goal is to get more money to all of you. And not only is it good for you, but when women have more money, it's good for our families, it's good for our community, it's good for the economy, it's good for society, and it's good for nonprofits. And so getting more money, helping all of you get in financial control is my life's work. But first of all, let me back up. I have 4 things I want to share with you. Number 1, this is not your fault. It's not our fault. Because from the time we're little girls, we receive messages that money and math and numbers and investing are for men. Daddy, how much money do you make? Honey, don't worry about that. Allowances. Today, little girls receive lesser allowances than little boys for doing the same work. In math class, today, girls receive lower grades than boys for the same answer. As we grow up, certainly in my generation, as we began to read the girls' media, the young teens' magazines, the women's magazines, oh, we got 6 ways to get the smoky eye. And we've got the 8 sex positions you've got to try. But when it comes to speaking to us about money, we're infantilized. We are represented back to ourselves, if we hear about money at all, as being spendthrifts. Don't buy the shoes, Carrie. You could have bought the apartment instead. Here's the test. Are you a Miranda or a Samantha when it comes to money? Don't buy that latte. Invest the difference. Where's the stuff about diversified investment portfolios? Nowhere. Can you imagine if on CNBC, Dylan Ratigan said to Jim Cramer, "What's your money type?" It leaves us such that we prefer to speak about our own death than about money. It leaves us as a society that started from the Puritans much more likely to talk to our girlfriends and boyfriends about sex than about money. Can you imagine if on the, now I'm a little out of date, like, do you date anymore? You just like hook up, right? Back in my day, you had sex on the 3rd date. I know it's different now, but just imagine if on the 1st date, the 2nd date, the 3rd date, when you're getting ready, when you're having all that sex, you said instead, let's talk about money. Yeah. We're given messages that money is not for us. The investing industry, 86% white men. Trading business on Wall Street, 90% white men. Hedge funds, 95% white men. Other money industry, venture capital, 95% white and Asian men. Those white men are just so darn good at their jobs. Oh, right, except financial crisis. And so we have money industries that overwhelmingly give money to men. Venture capital overwhelmingly give money to men. Despite the fact that venture capital startups run by women have 63% better returns than those run by men. And the amount of venture capital money we get is 2% for female CEOs. No wonder then that the investing industry does a better job for men. Think about it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's all about beat the market, outperform, pick a winner. CNBC is ESPN. The industry symbol is a bull. It's a phallic symbol. I don't know a woman who says, my 2 favorite brands are Tory Burch and the bull. Every message we receive is that money is not for us. We're out to change that. So here's how we start. Number 2. Here's what I want you to do. Look, I know I can be tough at your age. I was there, I promise you. And particularly if you live in one of these big cities where the cost of living is so high, and particularly if you have this student loan debt. What I want you to shoot for, is of your take-home pay, I want you to shoot that 50% of it goes to your needs, your rent, your work clothes, your car. I want you to have fun. So I want you to have 30% go to your fun. That outfit you gotta have, going out with your friends, and then 20%, I wanna go to future you. You have your stage name now, it's Beyonce. I want everybody here to have a grandma name. Mine is Esther. Yours is Phyllis. Yours is Beatrice. You get the point. I want you to give her a name. I want you to imagine her. She's a badass. And if you're not taking care of her, she's going to be pissed. And so that 20% for future you, that needs to go to paying down your credit card debt first, taking care of her, building an emergency fund of a couple of months, taking care of her, investing in your 401k, certainly taking care of her. Because guys, we ladies live 6 to 8 years longer than men do. 80% of us die single. 50% of marriages end in divorce. Maybe yours won't. Hell, I didn't think mine would either until my ex-husband had an affair with my ex-friend. It's okay, I won. But I want each of you to target towards that. And if it means having a little bit less fun for a little bit of time, getting yourself in control financially. I want you to start investing. Yes, I want you to do it Ellevest. If you don't, I don't understand why, but okay. But I want 1%, start with 0.5% out of every paycheck going to investing. 1%. Take it up a little later, 1.5%, 2%. I want you to do that because I tell you, Esther is going to be very happy and a little bit shocked by what you did in your 20s, helping her in her 70s and 80s. We don't want her alone in a nursing home. We want her traveling the world like the badass she wants to be. And so 50, 30, 20. My third piece of advice, don't marry a dick. That's it, that's all for that piece of advice. Number 4, there is strength in numbers. I'm gonna drop sort of some truth on you right now, which is for quite a period of time, we women have been told, and we women have therefore believed, that we own completely our future success. God, does that feel good, huh? It is me, I can do it. If I just follow the instructions, if I just read the book, if I just annotate it, if I just do it, then I will be successful. And if I'm not successful, I gotta read the book again or buy a different book. Score. Except here's the problem. While we were all going in on our own, owning our future, knowing our worth, asking for that raise, the gender pay gap did not move. And for white women, we are today decades away from closing it. For black women, 100+ years, and for Latina women, 200+ years. It hasn't budged. The number of female CEOs of Fortune 500 companies is less than the number named James. And that name isn't even John, it's James, so it's not even as good a name. Somehow, we got convinced we could do this on our own. And we made exactly no progress. Here's the thing. We women today control $6 trillion of investable assets. We women today direct 85% of consumer spending. We women today are more than half the workforce. I don't know how we got convinced we were weak, we had to be separated, and we had to do it on our own. In my generation, we knew there was one seat at the table for a woman, and so you know what we did to get it? We fought each other. Maybe not explicitly, but you knew who you were competing against. We got convinced that we were weak. And what I love about your generation, whereas my generation, when Ellen Powell, the venture capitalist, sued Kleiner Perkins, we women did what we women have done for decades, which is we looked away. When instead Susan Fowler pointed out the hideous working conditions at an Uber, we women, you women, amplified her, believed her, and changed Uber, which is today a changed company. When the women of the New York Times individually went and said, we'd like a better family leave, they didn't get it. When they bonded together, they got it. When the women of Nike decided to stop waiting for the senior folks to see they were a toxic environment, but did the survey themselves and took it to senior leadership, the senior leadership changed, hired a bunch of people, and changed the culture. When the actresses banded together and believed each other, they took down Harvey Weinstein. These are some of the most powerful men in business. And by coming together and believing each other, they were able to change it. And so everyone here needs to ask themselves, our money is power. In a capitalist society, our money is power. How do we get more of it? How do we use what we've got? Do we want to support the institutions and companies that have not supported us? Or do we want to support women-owned businesses, places where, frankly, I would want my daughter to work? Coming together at your companies with your women's group, engaging proactively, optimistically, energetically with your senior leadership team is the way to change it. And the fact that maybe I was successful, or you were successful, or you were successful through hard work, but the system overall didn't work. And so those of us who made it to the senior levels were exceptions that proved the rule. And I'm going to urge your generation not to be complacent the way mine was. In my 20s, this feminist thing is over. My mom was a feminist. I don't want to be like her. And look at all the other women like me. And it's only when I got to my late 20s, which is where I am now, okay, maybe my 40s, when I looked around and realized the other women were gone. And that I realized the work of feminism wasn't done yet. And so I leave you with a couple of thoughts. In a capitalist society, money is power. The guys have more of it than we do. We need to have more, one, in order to take care of ourselves. 90% of us will manage our money on our own at some point in our lives, whether we want to or not. We will live longer than the male partners of our lives. And so taking care of ourselves, if only your individual retirement account, is a means toward power. Directing your money is a means toward power. Using your voice is a means toward power. Coming together, believing each other, not holding each other to these ridiculous standards of perfection that the patriarchy has imposed on us. Where we can't be too hard, we can't be too soft, we can't push this way, we have to be perfect. My new thing is, I'm not going to just help perfect women, I'm going to help obnoxious women. I'm going to help women who aren't waiting their turn and waiting for their time, coming together. And the final thing I want each of you to do, I have a gift for you. I want each of you, anybody here doesn't have 15 minutes in order to make up their gender money gaps? No, of course not. Of course not, right? We have been led to believe that investing and getting ourselves in financial control is going to take hours, if not days, of our time. It's a message that's incorrect. And so what I want each of you to do is I got a present for you. If you go to Ellevest, ELLEVEST.com/girlboss, I want each of you to take 15 minutes to begin to get your investing life in order. At the end of the day, this tiny action, we're doing 99% of the hard work. I promise you, we're doing 99.999% of the hard work, which is you're killing at work, you're getting ahead, you're finding your way, and somehow we've been convinced that that last little part, that investing, is either too risky, too much time, etc., to keep us from stepping into our power and making this country a place we want all of us to live. Thank you.